Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and today I am doing another set of my mini one sheet wonders. This one is number 3. And with all of my one sheet wonders, I always recommend using one sheet of 6x6 double-sided pattern paper. And the printable that you see on screen here, it is available if you want to download it. There's just a small fee, or if you prefer, you can actually join as a channel member and you can download it for free. With this particular cut here, so this piece measures 2 inches high by 4 inches wide, and to get that diagonal line there, I actually mark a 1/4 of an inch from the top on both the left and right edge, and then along the bottom edge I measure 1.5 inch from the left edge. And then I will line up those. In my case, I just used a fine tip pen, but you could use, sometimes people use a pokey tool so that you make a slight indentation and you don't have to worry about erasing any lines, or you could use a pencil, whatever you prefer. But all you do is line up those 2 markings along the edge of your cutting blade. Here I'm using the new Tim Holtz rotary media trimmer, and that's how you make your angled cuts. And with all of my mini one sheet wonders, all of the pieces will get used on various card sketch designs, which are part of the printable as well. And the reason why I recommend double-sided pattern paper is because with my mini one sheet wonders, I have 2 goals. 1, not to produce any scraps. 2, to create as many different unique sketches as I can come up with. And one of the things that is a real benefit to using double-sided papers is that you can use these individual elements on the front or on the back and combine multiple pieces to get different looks, different styles or layout of cards. And hopefully you don't have to bring too much else to complete your card. Of course, there are large open areas where you may want to add a little something in addition to the pieces that are coming from that one initial sheet of 6x6 pattern paper. And in this case, I am using Cat Scrappiness papers. This is Friends Under the Sea, one of the latest releases, and it's really fabulous. First off, the colorway just really speaks to me because it's all about blues and greens, and more specifically, teal is my favorite color, so right up my alley. And as well, there are a lot of fun elements that are part of the collection, including this word die, Summer Vibes, which I think is really awesome. And then as well, there is a stamp and die set called Friends Under the Sea as well. And there are a lot of really fun sort of ocean animals that you can stamp and color up. So I'll feature those in some of my later cards, but I am also going to use on all of my cards. I think I ended up using these clear drops, which are really fabulous because it's great if you don't want to actually add pops of color with your enamel dots, but they are great for just that little bit of shine. And in particular with something that's water themed like this one, this collection, it really does look like water droplets because it's so clear. And I love the ones from Cat Scrappiness because they do come in multiple different sizes. So it's really great to kind of, add a spattering of them and you can put them in various sizes to just create a little bit of interest. So with this particular sketch, I really like that angle cut, but I wanted to bring something else to the card front, bring another shape to the card front. And I decided to cut out some nested circles. So I did add another panel of pattern paper behind everything. And then I die cut from a different design. And of course, all of the papers in the paper pad coordinate so beautifully together, so you can really pick anything and it would all go really well together. And so I picked another design for that outer circle, the larger one, and I stamped and colored this really fun sea turtle. And instead of die cutting out the turtle, I actually just cut out a circle, kind of framed him in a circle and stamped my sentiment inside that circle as well. So this is one of the things that I definitely encourage with any sketch that you have to actually make it your own, add to it what you like, and adapt it for whatever context or style that you prefer. And so similarly with this one, I am using the opposite side of that same triangle or that same angled cut at the top. So on my previous card, I used the darker side that had the print with all of the sea animals. But here, because I chose a background paper to pair with it that already has a lot of sea animals, I didn't want that banner to also have that very similar look or patterning to it. So that's why it's really nice to use double-sided papers, because then you do have a lot of options and flexibility with which side you use and how you compose your card, what else you're bringing to the card front. And so here I'm using the side that is a nicer kind of it's a nice soft repeat pattern. And I have die cut from another sheet the waves border, which is also a new die that released with this collection. And this adorable whale is going to be my focal image here. I've positioned it so that it kind of looks like he's jumping out from behind those waves. And I did heat emboss in white my sentiment right on top of the pattern paper. So you can definitely do that, even though these papers they have a little bit of that sort of glossiness to them, but you can still stamp and heat emboss onto them, no problem. So I thought that was a great way to add my sentiment. And again, I'm going to add some of those clear drops, which I love so much. Moving on to, this will be my last card. The pattern paper that I'm using that did come from the original sheet that I cut down is the one on the left. But because I had cut down some additional sheets to create my previous 3 cards, I looked to those for additional scraps and additional cuts to bring to this particular design. And so that's what I'm doing here with that the darker panel that features the sea turtles. And on this design, I am changing up my sketch a little bit. I really like using these triangles as almost, they sort of remind me a little bit of photo corners, where you have those corners that you can sort of slip your photo into. And usually you see them in black, but I kind of like the look that these triangle pieces give you when they are placed in that way. So I'm loosely following my sketch, but just using those triangular pieces in a different way, because in my sketch, I've actually put the 2 triangle pieces back together so that the long diagonal edge are butt up against each other to actually reform a rectangle. And I decided not to do that this time, partially because the pattern that I chose doesn't really work in that way. And I did accidentally glue this upside down, so I had to take it off. So anytime you need to do that, if you have one of these flat kind of spatula-like tools. That seems to help quite a lot with reducing any tearing, any lifting, and also you don't, at least I've found that I don't curl or destroy my paper as I'm trying to lift it up, because it is so flat, it can slide right under there. So if that ever happens to you, don't worry. I always use really strong tape, but I'm glad that initially I didn't have any liquid adhesive, and I'm glad that I caught that error in time to actually try to lift that back up. So I will go ahead and just assemble the rest of my images here. So the third ocean critter that comes in this stamp set is the, I think it's a sea otter, or is it a seal? I always confuse the two, but it's really adorable and really fun to color up. The images on the stamp set I find are a really great size. I think they are big enough to where there's some good open space so that I can practice my blending and really try to get that whole light, mid, and dark tone as I'm coloring it in. But it's not super tiny to where it's hard to get into small areas or hard to really get any color variation for me. That can be really challenging the smaller the images or the smaller, the open areas are. So I had a lot of fun coloring up these animals because I feel like they are a really good balance. Sometimes for me, larger images are really hard to get a smooth blend across, one large open area. And I find that these images are a really nice balance in size. So lots of fun to color up. And that is actually going to complete my fourth and final card that you can make with Mini One Sheet Wonder number 3. I do have another set of cards that I've already created. They are featured on the printable themselves, but also I do have a video tutorial on that too. So I hope that it helps you to kind of see different ways that you can really create with these sketches and make them still your own, but still also using them as a way to kind of jumpstart your creativity, which I always find sketches very useful for. And I'm looking forward to creating more of these one-sheet wonders. So again, you can, if you are the type of person who enjoys having the physical printable, you can download the PDF from my website. The link to that will be in the description box below. There's a small fee for that, but it's just a one-time fee, and then you can have the PDF to use however many times you'd like. But of course, I've already given you 2 tutorials now on this particular Mini One Sheet Wonder, and so you can always watch the videos for free. And of course, if you want to join as a channel member and support me in that way, one of the perks that you get is free access to all of my printables. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye!